Hey guys, this lesson is going to be on multi-digit multiplication, so we're just going to be expanding on what we already learned about 2 by 2 digit multiplication. We're going to be working with numbers that have 3 digits as well as 4 digits, and we're going to use the same box method that we used before. So our first example is 358 times 820. The first thing I'm going to do is draw my box. And then I'm going to break each of these numbers up by place value. I'm going to put 358 along the top and 820 along the left side. And when I break it up by place value, I want to look at the value of each of these digits. So for 358, I can break that into 300 plus 50 plus 8. For 820, I can break that up into 800, 20, and 0. So my box ends up being a 3 by 3 box, 3 rows and 3 columns. Now I need to multiply to get the partial products that fill those boxes. So for this box highlighted in green, for example, I would multiply 800 times 300. And I know that I am going to take the leading numbers and multiply them, and then count the zeros. So 800 times 300 is 240,000. And I'll do the same thing for the other boxes. In the box below, it would be 20 times 300. 2 times 3 is 6, and there are 3 zeros. So that is 6,000. In the next box, it would be 0 times 300, which is just 0. 0 times anything equals 0. In the next box, I would have 800 times 50. Taking those leading digits, 8 times 5 is 40, and there are 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 40,000 will go in this box here. Next, I will do 20 times 50. 2 times 5 is 10. And there are 2 zeros. So that becomes 1,000. In the next box, I have 0 times 50. And we already learned that 0 times anything is just 0. Starting in that last column, I'll have 800 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64, and there are 2 zeros, so that becomes 6,400. Next, I would have 20 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16, and there's 1 zero, so that becomes 160. And in that last box, I would have 0 times 8, which just equals 0. So now I have all of my partial products listed in the chart. My next step is to add all of those numbers together. I'm going to make myself some room here. So I'm going to add 240,000, 40,000, 6,400, 6,000, 1,000, and 160. Now when you add, make sure that you're keeping your place values lined up pretty well so that you don't get confused. In the ones place, I'll just have a 0, because a bunch of zeros added together just equals 0. In the tens place, When I add all those numbers, I just get 6. In the hundreds place, when I add those numbers, I get 5. Next is the thousands place. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So the 3 will go in the thousands place, and I'm going to carry the 1 to the 10,000s place. And of course, 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And finally, I have the 100,000s place. And the only digit in that place is a 2, so it just stays the same. So my final answer is that 358 times 820 equals 293,560. Our next problem is 569 times 27. I want you to take a second and try to create the box yourself. This is what your box should have looked like. We can break 569 up into 500, 60, and 9 when we break it by place value. 27 can be broken into 20 and 7. Now I want you to give it a go at multiplying to get the partial products that will go in each box. These are the numbers that you should have gotten for each box. Remember that you use the numbers on the outside to multiply to get the partial product that goes on the inside. Now our last step in solving 569 by 27 would be to add all of the partial products together. So on your own, I want you to go ahead and add the partial products. When you added the partial products, you should have gotten 15,363. So our final answer would be that 569 times 27 equals 15,363. Now I want you to try this problem completely on your own. What is 781 times 485? Here is the completed work for 781 times 485. If you need to, you can pause this video and look at the solution to see where you might have made a mistake. This problem we'll do together because it's the first time we're working with a 4-digit number. Working with a 4-digit number is going to work the same way as any of our other problems. We're going to start by creating ourselves a box and then breaking it up by place value. When I break 1,154 up by place value, I have to start with the thousands. So I'll have 1,154. When I break 208 up, I'll have 200, 0, and 8. Now I want you to take a minute and think about what you think is going to happen in this row that I'm highlighting here. What do you think is going to occur in all of the partial product boxes on that row? If you said that you thought all of the partial products in that row were going to be 0, you were correct. Remember that 0 times anything will just equal 0. So 0 times 1,000 is 0. 0 times 100 is 0. 0 times 50 is 0. And 0 times 4 is also 0. In the first upper left-hand box, I have 200 times 1,000. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. And there are 5 zeros in those two numbers, so I'll have 5 zeros in my partial product. In 200 times 100, 1 times 2 is 2, and there will be 4 zeros. In 200 times 50, 2 times 5 is 10, and I'll add 3 zeros to the end. And 200 times 4, well, 2 times 4 is 8, and there are 2 zeros to add on. In the bottom row, 8 times 1,000 is 8,000. 8 times 100 is 800. 8 times 50, well, 8 times 5 is 40. And there's 1 zero to add on. And 8 times 4 is 32. Now I need to add all of these numbers together. So here are all my partial products. In the ones place, I'll have a 2. In the tens place, a 3. In the hundreds place, I have 8 plus 8 plus 4. Well, 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 4 is 20. The 0 will go here and I'll carry the 2. In the thousands place, 2 plus 8 is 10, so the 0 will go in the bottom and I'll carry the 1. In the 10,000s place, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And in the 100,000s place, I just have a 2 with nothing added to it. So 1,154 times 208 equals 240,032. Here is all of the work, the box, and the addition for 1,389 times 634. If you need to pause and look at the work, do so that you can find mistakes if you made one.